In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a really high converting opt-in landing page so that you can start building your email list. And we're going to do that using WordPress and Elementor Pro. So it's something that you own and it's going to look amazing. I'm Wes McDowell, web strategist for The Deep End, and one of the best uses of your website, other than to actually close more deals and get more customers who are ready to buy, is to actually start building that email list of people who are not ready yet, but they will be paying customers soon enough, and you want to get them on that email list so you can stay in front of them as long as it takes for them to make that decision and get off the fence. Now, traditionally, there are a couple ways of building a page like this. One would be on your website, but in this case, you usually need some kind of a theme, template for it, or at least to be working with a developer or designer to come up with the look for it. Or you can use something that's not part of your website, that's more like a lead pages or a ClickFunnels type solution. But the problem is these kinds of pages don't inspire a whole lot of trust with your customers. And I'm not here to call anybody out or any particular service out, but whenever I see an opt-in page like this one, I think that they just kind of look like a fly-by-night operation, not necessarily like a brand that you want to work with. It just has kind of a infomercial look to it to me. So in this video, I want to show you a really highly converting layout you can use for your email opt-in page, as well as a really simple way to bring it to life in just a few minutes. And the way we're going to bring it to life is through your WordPress site, and then a premium plugin called Elementor Pro. It does cost $50, but when you think of what you get for that, you get all these really cool features to build your entire website with, including forms, cool animations, all that good stuff. $50 really isn't a whole lot of money when you think about the fact you can do it yourself and it can look really amazing. And the link you can use to get Elementor Pro is right under this video. So let's go ahead and get over to the computer and get started. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go and you're gonna buy Elementor Pro on the website, and the link again is below this video to do that. So once you've bought that, and you're going to want to log back into your WordPress dashboard. So from here, what you need to do to make everything work is to install Elementor and Elementor Pro as plugins. So the way you do that is go down to plugins here on the left sidebar and then click on Add New. Now, I've already got Elementor installed, but I'm just going to kind of show you the steps involved to get it on your site. So just go to search plugins and then type in Elementor. And so here it is. This is the one you want, Elementor Page Builder. And as you can see, mine is already active because I already have it. But if you didn't have it, you'd have this Install Now button instead. So you'd click on that, and then it would install it, and then there'd be a new button that says Activate. So then you would click on that as well. And you're not done now, though. You have to add the Pro version. So what you do is when you buy the Elementor Pro license, what you do then is you can download a zip file of that plugin, and you're going to upload that by clicking on Upload Plugin, and then you would choose the file, and then you would upload that zip file, and then it would be activated. So once you've done that, now it's time to actually build the page out. So we're going to go over to Pages, Add New, then just give it a title. So then just one more important thing you want to do here. You want to go down to where it says Disable Sections and click on Disable Primary Header, Disable Title, Featured Image, and Footer Bar. And then go up to Edit with Elementor. All right, we have a brand new fresh page here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through from top to bottom the different sections that I recommend that are really going to add up to a really great and compelling email opt-in page that's going to tell people exactly what you're offering them and why they would want to download it. So we start with the hero section right up top. So we're going to do this from scratch. So go ahead and click on the little plus icon right there, and now choose a 2-column layout. And this is all we've got right now. It's just a little blank section surrounded by blue there. So what we're gonna do first is give it a little bit of size. So with this selected, go over to where it says height and then give it a minimum height. And I like to do this at about 600. And what we have here is the 2-column layout. So what we're gonna have over here is going to basically be the title of the lead magnet and a little short description. And over here will be the box, the opt-in box where people can enter in their name and email address and the button to claim it. So Let's just go ahead and build these one by one. And we're going to go up to the grid section up here where we have access to all of the widgets that we can use. And if you've got the Elementor Pro, which you're going to need, by the way, to make the form is a Pro feature. So you have access to all these different elements, which can really add up to a cool site. So let's go ahead and start with the text over here. I'm going to take a heading and I'm going to drag that down. And then I'm going to take a text editor and drag that down right underneath. And then I'm going to duplicate that. And of course, this does not look great yet. The text needs work and there's no margin here. So what I want to do is fix the margin issue first. Let's choose the section, and content width is boxed. And I'm going to make that box a little narrower so that there's a nice margin there. And it's also easier on the eyes to read it this way. So let's go ahead and do something like that. Let's just make it an even 1,000. And I'm going to go ahead now and just add in my text. Okay, so I've added the text, and now we're just going to go ahead and change the sizing and really just make it look as good as possible. So we'll start one by one. This is the top section, the little basically pre-header, I would call it. And just go over to Style, and you can change the text color. Let's just focus on the typo. We will be changing all of this text to white later when it's over a background, but for now, we're just gonna leave it colored like this so we can see it. So let's take the size down, because again, this is kind of the pre-headline. It's not the big headline. I'll take it, yeah, about 22 looks good. And let's take this one right here, and I'm gonna make this is basically the big headline. This is the title of the lead magnet. I feel like that size looks good more or less. So it's a 41 point size. And now, but what I don't like is the letters, the line spacing between it. It's far too big. So you go down to line height, and you can really get some really granular control over it by using that. And then what I want to do actually is make this section a little narrower to make more room for the form over here, because these do not have to be equal width columns, which is cool. And I'm just going to make this text, I'm just going to unbold that. So go over to Style, Typography, Weight. Weight is where you get the boldness from. So I'm just going to click on Normal. That looks better to me, just like that. Now, there's quite a bit of space between this and this, right? So I'm going to see what I can do about the margin. So I'm just going to click on this text area here and go over to Advanced. And margin is where we're going to do this. So I'm going to unlink the values so I can only focus on the bottom margin. And I'm just going to go into the negatives on that just to really tighten things up a bit. And right away, I feel like that looks quite a bit better. So now what we can do is we can focus on building out the form on the right. So what we want to do over here is we want to add a little image of the lead magnet and some text and a form. So what we're going to do first to do that is we need to put in an inner section. So drag one of those in here. Now we've got space for the lead magnet image and then the other stuff over here. So what we're going to do is just go back over to the grid. I'm going to drag an image placeholder right into there. And I'm going to get a heading right here, a text editor right underneath it, and then a form. So let's go down under Pro and get a form and just drag that right in there like so. And of course, this is not looking great yet, but we will fix that. First of all, let's just put in the image we want. So go ahead and click on the image and then choose image over here. And again, what I recommend you do is actually just go on some website like Fiverr, or maybe you're a designer yourself. Maybe you can design something nice, but choose either do it yourself or choose a designer who can make you a really nice looking cover for your lead magnet, whether it's an audio training or a video or a guide of some kind. Just have some kind of a nice looking cover for it, have it designed, and then that's what you're gonna upload right in here. So I'm gonna click on Insert Media. So we've got a nice little cover for it there. And right now I'm just gonna go ahead and put in the correct text in here. Okay, so it just says get the free checklist, and then just tell us where you'd like us to send it. Now let's go ahead and make sure it looks nicely styled. So click on one at a time on the headline and then on style. I'm going to make the text color white. I'm going to go over to content and I'm going to center it as well. And then I'm going to work on the description text. So just click on that. Style. I'm also going to make that white. Typography, I don't like that it's bold, so I'm going to do weight normal, and I'm going to center that as well. And actually, I think the line height I'm not liking either. I'm going to make that a little closer together. That looks a little better to me. Okay, now let's focus on the form itself. So just make sure you've clicked on the inside of that. So what we've got over here are the different form fields. We have name, email, and message. We can get rid of message right away. We don't need that. Now, what I really recommend, you can ask for whatever information you want here. I highly recommend you only ask for first name and email address. So let's go ahead and click on name right now, and I'm going to get rid of the label. I mean, this is up to you. You can do it however you want. So now we've got a label above it and placeholder text. What I generally like to do just to make it feel a little cleaner is get rid of the label and just have it as placeholder text right in here. So over for label, I'm just going to delete that. And under placeholder, I'm going to say first name. And then I'm going to do the similar thing with email. So I'm going to get rid of the label and I'm just going to type in your email. And then we're going to concentrate on the button itself. So collapse these the form fields, and now you're going to go down to the submit button. And under text, rather than just send, you want to really make this more specific about what they're going to be getting when they do. So I'm going to type in, send me the checklist with an exclamation point. This really emphasizes what they're getting rather than just submit or something soft like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the background images in here. So go ahead and click on the section and then style. And then on background type, I'm going to click on classic. So what you could do here is just a background color or a gradient or even a video. But I think in this case, I'm just going to do a nice looking image. So click on classic and then under image, and you can find these images just about anywhere. You can either use one of your own. You can go to a paid stock site. I recommend Adobe Stock. They've got a really great selection of images that aren't a lot of money. It's not very expensive. And there's also a ton of free ones out there like Stock Libra, which allows you to basically have access to every single free stock photo site out there in one site. So, but I found this one, and what you would do if it's not already loaded in here, which it probably wouldn't be for you, you would just drag and drop your image right in here. So, but I've already got mine chosen. So click on that and then insert media. And the scale is a little weird. So what we're gonna do is go down to size and then choose cover. And the other thing I like to do, this is kind of a basically a personal preference thing, but I like to do attachment fixed, so that as you scroll down, the image stays in place. I just think that looks a little nicer. So now, of course, we still have a little bit of work to do because we cannot read this text at all. So what I want to do is this text is all going to be white, and I'm going to add a black gradient over this to where it really makes that white text pop out. So first things first, let's just go ahead and change the text color. So one by one, we'll choose each one of these text elements and style, text color, white. Same here. Okay, cool. So it's all white. Now we just got to add the background overlay. So we've chosen the whole section and we've got the background. Let's collapse that. Now we want background overlay. And what you can do, there's many different ways you can do this. You can do classic, which is basically just choosing a color to go over the whole thing. I'm going to opt for the gradient though. So choose gradient over here. And I don't know why it always defaults to this pink color, but it does. But I'm going to choose black there. And we're not really seeing much here, so we got to play around with, the locations. Actually, first of all, let me just go ahead and make sure that we've got, okay. So then the other one, I'm just going to choose black and then bring the opacity all the way down. And now let's just so we can really see what we're doing here, let's make the opacity of this like all the way to 100%. And change the angle. We're going to change that to 90. or -90 rather. There we go. That way it's on the left side and this text becomes really easy to read. And now anytime you want to get a good preview of what this looks like without the sidebar over here, just click on this little arrow. So let's just see what we've got here so far. This doesn't look bad. I kind of like it just as is. Okay, so now let's expand that back out. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the section below this, which is basically going to be a bullet list, letting people know all the different things they will learn if they download your lead magnet using Curiosity built right in. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So we did this top section from scratch, but we're going to actually use a pre-made block for this next section and just slightly modify it. So click on the folder icon, and we've got all these blocks. Pre-made blocks. You can change all the images, all the colors, all the text, and all that stuff. So we're going to find the block that I'm thinking of, which is this one right here. It's got the smartphone on the right and then a bulleted list over here with icons. So just click on insert. So then that goes right there. And of course, we're going to change this out and change these out. But first things first, what we're going to do is add a text block above this because it doesn't already exist there. So click on text editor and you're just going to drag that right above this icon list. And then I'm just going to use the text editor over here to change the text to what we want it to be. And then I'm just going to give that a quick styling. So just go up to style. And then I'm actually going to change the text to black rather than that gray color. And then under typography, I'm going to choose, it's given it the body copy font. I'm going to give it the heading font that I've chosen here, which is Railway. And then under weight, I'm going to change it to normal. That way we can go in content and we can make this top section bold and that section not bold. And I'm going to go back and I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger as well. So typography, size, let's just make sure it looks nice. So I feel like that looks pretty good. And then line height needs a little tightening up. That looks better to me. All right, cool. And then so what I want to do here, though, is I want to give it a little horizontal line here, just a style thing, personal preference. So go to the grid and then divider and just drag that right over here. And then I'm going to tighten up the spacing between it. So click right here, advanced, margin. I'm going to unlink the values. So we're just working with the bottom one. I'm just going to tighten that all up just like that. Okay, now here is where you're going to want to add all of your bullet points. And this is not a copywriting video by any means, but I will show you just kind of a few of my tricks of the kind of words I like to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those in now. So yeah, things like the number one most important, fill in the blank, the little known secrets, the little known tips, the little known whatever applies to what you're teaching here. The most commonly overlooked, the cheapest and easiest. So basically this is adding a lot of built-in curiosity to your bullet points. You're not telling people exactly what they're going to learn, but you're whetting their appetite for it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fix the styling of these. So if you wanted to change the heading here to kind of an accent font, just click on the section, go to style, and then under content, here's where you do it. So you've got several things here. You've got the title and the description. So for the title, I'm going to go under typography and I'm going to choose what's called rock salt. And then I'm going to reduce the size of that. And not only the size, but the letter spacing is a little tight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to widen that a bit so it's easier to read. And then I'm going to change the description color to black as well so it's easier to read. I don't know why Elementor always defaults to that really hard to read gray color. That's something they need to work on. But now I'm going to change the icon color too. So up to style, icon, and you just choose primary color, and then you can just choose any color you want. I'm just gonna type in a color code of a green that I've found that I like. And then, you can choose whatever icon you want as well under content. So, and they've just rolled out a new version of Elementor with a bunch of new icons. So it's like something like 1,500 icons they have now. So these can either be, specific to the bullet point itself, or, what you can always do is just do a check mark. There's a bunch, you can just click on that. and then you filter by name. So just type in check. You can't go wrong with the check mark. I'm just going to insert that. And then rather than having to do all this work we just did for every single one of these, there's a trick. So just right click inside this box and then copy, and then go in all the other ones and just right click on paste style. And it's going to do that all the way down. That doesn't change the icon. You'd have to do that manually. And I'm just going to do that right now. Okay, so now we're just going to change out this image. So just click on that and then choose image, and then you just drag it onto the stage. I've already got mine picked out. So insert media. So let's take a look at what we've got so far. Let's go ahead and collapse that. So we've got the hero section up top. And now we've got a nice little section telling them all the bullet points and a nice image kind of reinforcing it for people who aren't going to read all the text. So including images is really important just to kind of set the right tone. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to add a little bit of social proof in the form of testimonials. So hopefully you have some people you can show your lead magnet to and get a testimonial, even if it's just one. I generally like to see 3, and maybe you can't start with 3, but you can always build to it. But even when something is free, people definitely like to know that other people have gone before them and gotten something out of the lead magnet. It's just going to make it much more compelling for them to download it. So a really easy way to do this is just go to the folder icon, and then under blocks still, you can filter all these blocks out. So I'm just going to type in testimonials. So now we're left with only the testimonial blocks. And there's a bunch of different ones you can go with. It's just a matter of personal preference. I'm going to go with this one right here. Just going to insert that. Now, first thing I want to do though, so it doesn't blend in with this section, because I like to keep people scrolling down the page. And one of the ways you do that is by making every section a little bit different from each other. So click on the section itself and then go over to style. And under background, I'm just going to give this a really nice kind of beigey color. So click on just the classic, and then under color, I'm just going to type in the color value I found. So that looks pretty nice to me. It's a nice flow down the page. All right, so by now you pretty much know how to style text. So I'm just going to go ahead and style this all the way I want it to be. Okay, so I just did some really simple styling here to make it how I want it. And then one other thing I want to do, kind of a pro tip here. So it gives you a space for each person's title, or you could say the city they're in. You could do that if you wanted to, but what I like to do is actually add 5 stars right here. People are conditioned to respond to that. So what you would do is just type it, look for web emojis online. I just use getemoji.com. And then just type in star right here, and then find the simplest one, just star right down here, and then copy that. It copies it to your clipboard. Then go back in here, and then under content, and you've got each person here. Obviously you would upload their actual image here and all that stuff, their name, and then under title, I'm just going to type in 5 of those stars, and I'm going to do the same thing for all of them. All right, so we've got that done, and now what we're going to do, we're nearing the end of the page. So what we want to do is, once people have scrolled all the way down, we don't want them to have to go all the way back up in order to sign up for it. So we want to give them another opportunity right down at the bottom. And this is super easy. Just go click on the folder icon right here, and we're going to get rid of testimonials here. We're going to just use this one right here, with the black background and the white text. Just insert that. And then we're going to just change the text right here. And we don't need this read more, so I'm just going to click on the X to get rid of that. But we do need the form right here. So rather than building that from scratch, we're just going to go up to the top, and we're going to right-click, duplicate. So it makes 2 of them. And then we're just going to take the second one, click on the pencil, and you're going to drag it down, just right beneath that text. And that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and just preview this whole page. So go up to the top, And so we've got the hero section and the bullet points to let people know why they would want it, the testimonials, and then the last chance to download it right at the bottom. So a few more things to go over. You may be wondering how you make this form actually work. Well, I'm not going to get into all of it here, but here's the bullet points. You basically are going to click on the form, and then under content, let's collapse form fields. You're going to go on actions after submit. So it can either just email you, but that's not what you want. You want it to trigger something in your autoresponder, like your MailChimp or Drip, ActiveCampaign, something like that. So click on here, and then you've got these options of MailChimp, Drip, ActiveCampaign, Get Response. There's quite a few of them that are actually right out of the box. I like Drip personally. And then once you choose the one, you go down to that program, and now it's going to ask you for API token, stuff like that, which is a little beyond the scope of this video, but it's pretty easy to get it all in there just to kind of communicate with your autoresponder program. But now let's look at a few more things just to kind of style this up a little better. So a few cool things you can do. So just for the hero, I'm going to click on the section, and then under layout, actually under style, you're going to go to shape divider. And then click on bottom. There's a bunch of different ways you can kind of make this not just a boring straight line across if you wanted something different. So there's lots of different, I'm not a big fan of the clouds. I don't like that one. But let's try waves brush. I think that one's kind of cool. And then you can mess with the width and the height. So let's make it a little more subtle. Just kind of more like that. I think that looks pretty nice. And then let's do something here it's called a parallax effect, where this image will move at a different rate than the other content to the side. So it just has a nice little effect to it. So let's choose that. Let's choose the image itself. And then under advanced rather, we're going to go to motion effects, and we're going to click scrolling effects on. And now let's do vertical scroll. So just go ahead and click on that. And so what we've got then, it's hard to kind of see here, but let me collapse all this so we can see what we're doing here. So see how as we scroll down, that image is scrolling at a different rate. It just has a nice little effect to it. It's not going to make or break anything, but just want to show you what is possible here. But that's it. This is a really nice layout for a lead magnet that really has a nice perceived value to it. It doesn't look cheesy. It doesn't just look right out of the box, and it makes you look like a real business when you use something like this. And if you want to know how to carry this through to the rest of your website, I've got a video right here that's going to show you how to actually use Elementor for your entire small business website. I'm Wes McDowell for The Deep End, and I will see you in that video.